So I just asked 50 business owners, what would you pay to automate? And in this video, we're going to be talking about exactly what it is that they said. Now, how I got here was I asked a question in my school community yesterday, which is quite simple. If you had to take out your wallet and pay for one thing to automate, what would it be? And we got 50 responses. This is what we're going over. 5 of them turned out to be fantastic and the other 5 turned out to absolutely flop. So if you guys are interested in selling AI automation services, then this video is for you, because I'm going to be going over what is probably in your best interest to focus your time on and what is probably not in your best interest to focus your time on. And so with that being said, let's dive into this right now. Most of the blueprints that I'm going to be going over in this video are going to be completely free for you guys to download in the description down below. The first one is analytics. So this one for me, I absolutely love. However, it's not necessarily always the first thing that comes to mind when thinking about creating or running a business. However, once you already have a stable stream of leads coming in, you've closed quite a few deals, well, you probably want to know where to double down on your efforts and what to cut, because if you don't have tracking like a system like this, you're probably shooting in the dark. So in an automated system like this, we can build out real-time analytic dashboards to allow people to understand exactly what's working and what's not working in their business. Like at a moment's notice, I can understand how well my sales team is doing, who's doing well, who's not doing well, who's generating revenue, who's sending out quotes, who's slacking, where the deals are coming from, all of that kind of stuff. And so for a system like this, I think it's really powerful. We got 5 votes, or 10% of the people that took the survey. And I think that you could easily sell this for at least $5,000, probably even more depending on the level of sophistication. Again, with this video, it's going to be down below in the description. There will be a link to another video kind of going over how to build this, as well as the free blueprints as well. Now, the technology we're using for this is Looker Studio, Google Sheets, and a CRM. And you can generate analytics, not just on sales, but you could do it on leads over here. You could do it on fulfillment. You could do it on any part of your business. And so for that reason, obviously really powerful stuff. I would recommend, if you're selling this, to use it as an upsell, because usually it's not always the first thing that people are looking to buy. However, once you have somebody on the hook because you've sold them an AI automation service, they're absolutely in love with what you've done and they see the ROI, then this is a great upsell at that point in time. Moving past this, at rank number 4 out of 10, or the 4th best thing to sell, is content marketing automations. So specifically, how you can grow somebody's brand online. And there's a lot of ways to do this, right? But I'm just going to go over a couple here, which is generating blogs, social media posting, as well as creating AI videos. I think that's really cool. And also something that I think is a great idea as well is generating viral content ideas. Let's break this down. I think that all of these, we'll go into the pricing individually, but the first one is blog generation. Now, this whole system looks very complicated, and it is, but it does a great job at generating blog posts, like you can see here. It can create the page on something like WordPress, generate the slug. It could even generate the titles, title, meta title, the text. It can generate the styling. It can generate the links, which are internal, external. Everything can be done automatically. And for that reason, it's really powerful. And I think you could easily sell that for $5,000, which, if you think about it, is really like a steal, because any of these things, and it's not just blog generation, but this is a good example of that. Once you build it one time and somebody pays you $5,000, they're going to be using this for maybe the next 5 or 10 years. And so the ROI is massive. On average, when it comes to like marketing ROIs or marketing automation ROIs, it's usually a 5x ROI or 500% for the average like return on investment. But if you're doing a good job, you could easily get way higher than that. And so for that reason, like, these kind of systems are almost invaluable, and no matter almost what you sell it for, maybe not no matter like what you sell it for, but in most instances, it's just going to be so much more valuable to the client because they can use it for a lifetime. The next thing that I want to go over in terms of what you could build here is a social media post system. And this is very complementary to the blog post. And I use this for my business, where not only do we generate these blog posts, but once we generate them, we take it a step further and generate traffic to those blog posts by reformatting these blog posts for things like Facebook or Instagram or X or Tumblr, or if my face is blocking this, I'll zoom in, Pinterest or LinkedIn, all of that kind of stuff, right? You can automatically repurpose it. And again, $2,500. This is really, really awesome stuff because you can just grow your social media channel. And this is just one way of kind of doing that. Of course, you could generate it off of blog posts, but you could also generate it off of tons of other content as well. Let's talk about one of those other pieces of content here, which could be a faceless video generator for Instagram, for YouTube, for TikTok, something like this. And again, this and the blog generator and the social media poster, they're all going to be down below for free in the description. But all of these, this one specifically, you can generate AI generated content. Let's take a look at what this looks like.
Start with freelance writing. All you need is a keyboard and creativity. Next is virtual assistant work, managing tasks for busy professionals remotely. Consider digital marketing consulting, helping businesses grow online with strategy and content.
And so with something like this, it's talking about the ways you can generate money remotely. But essentially, that is something that could be 100% automated. And then you can go ahead and distribute that to all of your different social media platforms over here, which again is just so cool. You could do it with videos, you could do it with photos, you could do it. There's a million and one ways to do it. And so for a system like that, I would say probably anywhere between $5,000 to $10,000. You could use that as a baseline and then improve on that, tweak it, and make it something absolutely exceptional for your clients. Lastly, in the content marketing, I want to talk about viral content ideas. I think that this is just super, super invaluable. I get a lot of people requesting this. If you guys create content, you know the struggle of having to find good ideas, and then B, having to create content and all that kind of stuff. And with something like this, what it does is it scrapes the entire internet for you. It scrapes Instagram, it scrapes YouTube or TikTok or X or whatever, and it will find you the outliers. It'll find you the ideas that just crush it. And what you could do is use those ideas as inspiration for your next social media posts. So it will scrape the ideas here, then it will put it into a Google Sheet like this. And so this is just a great way to speed up your brainstorming with validated ideas that have a proven track record of success. So this is great. It's going to help people grow their social media presence online. The cool thing about this is that really at the end of the day, if you're selling AI automations to a business, everyone needs an online presence. Everyone needs social media. It's only going to enhance their business. So this is quite an easy sell to business owners because everyone needs it. The next thing here that I want to talk about is AI agents. This came in third place with 9 votes. And there's 2 examples that I want to go over here. The first one is a RAG system, and the second one is an AI chatbot system. Now, with a RAG system, I think it's just better if I show you rather than just talk about it. So this is my CRM here. What a RAG system does, or retrieval augmented generation, is you can think about it like having your own personal database that's just trained on everything related to you or everything related to your company. All of your contracts, all of your invoices, all of your standard operating procedures, all of that's going to be stored in this vector database. Think about your website here. You could web scrape all of these pages, and then you could throw it into that vector database. And the cool thing about a RAG system is that how this works is that when people message you or your company, like asking, for example, what company is this, it will give them a tailored response by pulling out information from that vector database. So it will search in there, pull out information relevant to the question that was asked, and it will answer it very well. So in this response, it says, hey, this is ABC company, your professional go-to DJ service in Toronto and Vancouver. Next one, hey, what services do you offer? It goes into the nitty-gritty details. We provide quality sound, lighting, MC services, personalized playlists, all that kind of stuff. How much does it cost? It'll go in, search your contracts. Well, this is on average what we sell it for, $750 to $1,500. Do you offer wedding services? Yes, we offer it. Here's what it starts at for a price, $1,500. So it can really speed up time, because all of a sudden with a company, you don't have to depend on sales agents to sit there around the clock and reply. One of the biggest determining factors of whether somebody closes the deal or not is just being available. And if you have sales reps that leave Friday night and they come in Monday morning, you're going to lose deals for anyone who inquires on Saturday, on Sunday, or Friday night, because nobody wants to wait around. And so they'll go with an option that got back to them quicker. With a RAG system, what this can do is it can book appointments for your sales reps so that on Monday morning, when they're back in the office, they have a stacked lineup of appointments from people that have been messaging back and forth with an AI agent. And so for that reason, I think that this is incredibly powerful. The next one is an AI chatbot that you can stick onto your website, something like this. And I'm just zooming in here because my face is conveniently blocking like everything. It's always so annoying when I have to show something in the bottom right side of my screen, and I just know I'm just sitting there being like, oh man, my face is gonna block it. Not as bad as when I view back, like look back at the videos, and I'm like, man, I just did such a good job on that video. I just really felt it. And then I see my face like blocking the whole screen, and it's just just like my heart sinks because I know I have to refilm it or whatnot. But anyways, back away from the tangent here, you can create and sell AI chatbots just like this on your website. And so you can message back and forth with customers. And so this is an easy way to handle frequently asked questions. It's also an easy way to do tasks. It could be customer service tasks, could be sales tasks. You could set appointments, you could send off invoices, you can handle customer queries. Whatever the case may be, this is a great way to do it. And so for that reason, I think that both of these would sell really well. The RAG system is $5,000. The AI chatbot is $2,500 to $10,000. I guess both of these could be like at the same sliding scale, because the reason why it could be way more is it depends on how many tools or features you enable it to do. So for instance, if this particular chatbot here was to all of a sudden send invoices, or was to schedule calls, or was to book appointments, like all of those additional add-ons are going to take you more time and will enable you to charge more money for that particular build. And so for that reason, that's kind of why I gave the sliding scale here. But yeah, the purpose is the same nonetheless, which is to remove manual tasks that people are currently doing by hand, and also doing it probably way more slowly. I mean, you can just actually take a look here as well. Again, with what I was saying earlier, with people taking the weekend off, like our team on average takes 804 minutes to reply to people. And we're really focused on calling people right away. And that's just because some people inquire at 2 a.m. in the morning, and you're just not going to get a hold of them until like 12 or noon or 11 a.m. or whatever. And so for that reason, these can really be beneficial, either replacing manual tasks or just doing things that are otherwise swept under the rug. And number 2, with 10 votes, we have sales automation. And so this is things like contracts and invoices, again, the same kind of RAG system, VAPI, voice calling, and new lead workflows. These are just a handful of things, but there's really just so many more things that you could be doing in sales automation. And again, the focus here is to increase conversion rates, speed, sales, efficiency, all of that kind of stuff. One thing that I want to point out here is the contract invoice generator. This one saves me I think it like the full-time equivalent of one salesperson every single year. It takes us about 30 minutes to, this saves us 30 minutes every single time we run this scenario. In a nutshell, we generate contracts and invoices just like this. How this works in practicality is we have sales reps. They will get off the phone with a client. But on the phone, they're furiously typing away, asking questions like, hey, tell me the date, tell me the start time, tell me the end time, where is your event located at, all these things. And it automatically populates this data onto a contract and invoice to send off to the client. This, you can see, it's a beast into itself. There's just so much that goes into this. I just can't help but smile right now because I'm just so happy that I do not have to do this manually, because I would really hate my life if I had to do this. But yeah, this saves so much time. probably $60,000 a year in cost because our sales team doesn't have to do this. Instead, they can focus their time on the highest leverage activities, which is actually picking up the phone and selling. And so all this kind of stuff is about winning back time as well, so that sales members can utilize their time on the highest productivity tasks that will generate the most revenue. And so this is a great example of that. Then moving past this, we have the VAPI calling here. This I want to put in here. I don't use it for my business because I'm in like the wedding space. It's way too personalized to do this kind of stuff. However, I want to put it in here because I do get a lot of people asking for this kind of technology. So because people are asking for it, because people are voting on it, I thought to include this in here. I just want to put a disclaimer that usually when you're doing AI calling, you do have to like get consent to talk to the person using AI calling. I guess it just depends on the region that you're located in the country, all that kind of stuff. But let's go ahead, let's test this out so you can see for yourself what this sounds like. We're going to be calling Elliot, my sales rep at Smart Pulse Agency.
Thank you for calling Smart Pulse Agency. This is Elliot, your scheduling assistant. How may I help you today?
Hey, Elliot, I came across your website. I'm interested in your services. I was just wondering if you could send off an invoice to me.
Absolutely. I can help with that. Could you please provide me with your full name and email address? I'll make sure to get that invoice sent off to you right away.
Of course. My name is John, and my email is jccatliff, so jccatliff @gmail.com.
Thank you, John. Just to confirm, your email is jccatliff@gmail.com, right? If that's correct, I'll go ahead and send off the invoice.
That is correct. Yep, sounds good.
Hold on a sec.
No worries.
All set, John. All set, John. The invoice has been successfully sent to your email. If you have any more questions or need further assistance, just let me know.
Sweet. Okay, thanks, Elliot. I gotta take off now. Bye-bye. And obviously I'm being polite because that's what all Canadians do. Even though I know it's an A on the other side of the phone, it's like, man, like it just like to my core, I've been conditioned in Canada to always be polite. So it's not going to stop with AI agents. So yeah, I think that's pretty cool. Again, it's in its infancy. It does make mistakes, but it's getting better literally by the day. Like every time I like open this up, it just feels like it just gets better and better and better. So yeah, I think that's pretty cool. In terms of building something out like that, $2,500 to $10,000. Again, it really just depends because you can add in so many things. Like it sent off an invoice to me here, but you could also schedule calendars, like update or create or delete calendar or consultation meetings on the fly. You could patch in like one of your sales reps, you could answer frequently asked questions. All of these things that you're adding in there are additional complexity. And of course, you should be charging for that and making more money. And so that is a really cool system to sell. Other than that, there's also the inverse to this, where instead of using an AI receptionist to pick up the phone, you could have sales reps calling instead. And so how this works is I'm going to go over to my AI agency automation website where we provide, where we help 6, 7, and 8-figure businesses automate their business. But essentially, when somebody's interested in inquiring, they can fill out their information and click Let's Talk down here. When that happens, we could set up a automation to get onto a phone call within 10 seconds. So I'm actually just going to go ahead and test out this workflow. Now, this isn't my stat. It's a Harvard stat in 2011 that said if you call within 60 seconds, you can increase your conversion rate by up to 391%. Now, with an automated system like this, what I'd like to do is call within 10 seconds because that's even faster, meaning that you're going to be the first person to talk to the client.
Jono Cadliff just inquired about your services. Please press any key on the keypad to connect into a call with Jono.
So I could press any key on the keypad, and now it's going to connect in. So initially it called me as the sales rep, then I pick up, hit a key on the keypad, and then it connects me into a call with the client. Obviously, I'm not going to talk to myself right now, so I'm going to hang up the phone. And so more or less, that is how a system like this works. You increase your conversion rate, and then you make more deals. This is probably one of the lowest hanging fruits that you could possibly implement. And for that reason, I like using this as a good MVP project for new clients because right away you can install something that takes not too much time. and they're going to be like, holy shit, like that was freaking insane. Like this just changed my business. And there's very few things in the world that take 5 to 10 minutes to implement that are absolutely game changing, but that happens to be one of those systems. And so you could take it a step further. You could send off text messages, emails, and drip that out over time as well. If you want to do that. And for this price here, that would be including sending off additional emails and text messages at a cadence, because not everyone, surprisingly, even if you call in 10 seconds, not everyone picks up the phone. Even if you double dial, people don't pick up the phone. Even when you text and you say, hey, you just inquired on our website here about AI automation services, do you want to chat? Sometimes people don't even reply to your texts or to emails, and they just inquire, but then they just vanish. Like it's just like a ghost, or maybe it's a bot, or I don't know. And for that reason, though, the more touch points you have, the more likely you are to close the deal. I think it's about 8 touch points on average to close a deal. And so the more texts and emails within reason, of course, within good taste, the more you send out, the more likely you are to get a hold of that person and get a definitive yes or no. The next thing that I want to talk about here is moving past sales automation into rank number 1 out of all of these 10 topics, which is, I'm trying to build up the suspense here, but I don't have like a drum roll or anything I can put in here. So the first one is lead generation, which I'm sure you probably guessed. This came in at 13 votes over here. So let's talk about some of these things. We already talked about the lead form capture and speed to lead. That's a great example of generating leads on your website through like SEO or through Google Ads or whatever. But one of the other really cool options here would be cold email and LinkedIn outreach. So take this workflow, for example, and I think that this will probably be the only workflow in this video that I'm not posting down below for free for you guys to download, because I don't have any publicly available videos going over this. This is just in my community, but I wanted to point this out because I think this is really valuable, and for that reason, we're going to go over this, and it's rated number 1 anyways. How we do this is we find lead sources, or we find leads online through places like Apollo. Apollo is a lead platform. You can find leads here. You want to contact CEOs, you go to Apollo. You want to find the head of marketing departments, you go to Apollo. It's going to have all of these leads here. And what we do is we plug it into N8N so that we first start by scraping leads in Apollo. How we scrape automatically is using a platform called Appify. You can get started for free on this. And if we just type in here, Apollo, they have these Apollo web scrapers here. Okay. So you can web scrape Apollo. You can run this from within N8N so that on a cadence, like once every day, 2 days, 4 days, you find leads on Apollo. Okay. And then you generate personalized outreach messages to them using AI. And you can grab information off their LinkedIn page, feed that into here to actually personalize the messages. And then you can send them cold emails and also cold LinkedIn connect messages and messages after they accept the connection request. And this is kind of more or less what it looks like. I'm using instantly.ai for the cold email outreach. And so this is just an example of an email that I'd send. This is just one of multiple different split tests that you could run in any given email campaign, but we can go through this together. Hey, first name, personalization, which will be what the AI generates. I'm Alex, founder of Automatable. After scaling a few companies, I kept running into the same issues. Teams losing 10 to 30% of their time to repetitive tasks that could easily be automated. Fixing just one of those bottlenecks consistently saved us 10 hours a week. And that's what we help teams like yours do right now. We guarantee the same results, or your money back if you want to schedule a call. And so that is essentially it. We can split test all of these emails, send it off. And the cool thing about this, and why I think this is so powerful and why so many people love it, is because if you think about lead generation, especially for service-based businesses, it is literally the lifeblood of the business. If you don't have leads, you don't have a business. That's it. And so with that being said, when you look at the options out there, there's not a lot of easy options that are not going to cost an arm and a leg. If you look at Google Ads, it's going to cost an arm and a leg. You look at Facebook ads, it's going to cost an arm and a leg. If you look at SEO, which is free, it's going to take you a freaking ton of time, sometimes years, especially if you don't have the right strategy and you have to restart. Content marketing, Could be months, could be years. All these things could be months, years, could be cheap, could be expensive, but more often than not, unless you're like one of the top 1% of people doing this or just getting lucky when you start and just, finding the winning strategy right away, you're going to be spending a lot of time or a lot of money. With cold email outreach, you're not spending a lot of time and you're not spending a lot of money to get something like this set up. You can get it running and then just improvise on it pretty quickly. And so for that reason, I think this is really powerful stuff. And I think that you could easily sell this for $5,000. And again, I don't think you're ever going to reach out to a service-based business that depends on leads and have them say, you know what, like we actually have too many leads. Like we got to cut it back. Like we're trying to cut them out. You'll never hear that. It doesn't exist. Anytime you can always get more leads, always hire more people to fulfill it, and always make more money. And so with that being said, I think that these are really powerful. And that is the top 5 types of systems, AI automation systems that people are looking for. And these are the things that I'd be focusing my time on trying to sell to future prospects. With that out of the way, let's wrap up this video by talking about the bottom 5 that absolutely sucked, which is kind of surprising to me, but I wanted to go over this so that you can probably figure out where not to focus a ton of time on, just because there's not as much attention on these things. First one is web scraping. So finding web scraping off the internet and using that to enrich client data or competitive analysis or finding like general viral ideas, probably not the best. Now, keep in mind, this kind of bleeds into some of the other points that we're talking about, but web scraping as a whole, outside of lead generation, probably not the best use case. Project management automation like ClickUp, Asana, Monday.com, again, no votes out of the 50. Appointments and calendar automation came in at the highest of these remaining 5. But again, there's not much interest in there. This is for people looking to schedule calendar events and then manage no-shows, cancellations, all of that kind of stuff. Next, we have accounting and payment automation. So whether you're dealing with QuickBooks or affiliates and commission and payouts and all that kind of stuff, only 1 vote over here. I feel like we need to have a moment of silence for the 1 vote over here that went against the grain and chose accounting and payments. Fortunately, that's not as popular. And then lastly, we have recruitment automation, which got a whole 0 people interested in it. Now, it could be the way I worded this, but honestly, from the videos I've posted on YouTube and what I've seen in my community and the people I talk to, it seems like it's pretty universal. These are usually not that popular when it comes to AI automation systems. And it's not that these aren't useful, because they're incredibly useful. It's just that it's not the first thing that comes to mind when people are thinking, hey, I want to take out my wallet and I need to, if I was to pay for an automation, what would it be? These are not the first things that come to mind. However, they're all great upsells, and they're usually all things that most companies will need, like most of these at least. And so for that reason, that is the top or the bottom 5. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you found value in this video. If you did, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below if you want to see future videos like this one. What always surprises me is that only about 20% of the people that watch my content actually are subscribed to me, which means that 80% of the people are not. And so it would be cool if you guys could help me out by doing me a massive favor and smashing that subscribe button. It would mean the world to me. And lastly, just before we wrap this up, if you guys are interested in taking AI automation to the next level, highly recommend taking a look at my school community over here, where we help people do one of 2 things. The first one is, I guess one of 2 main things, should I say, is to help them automate their entire business up to 80%. I just give you the exact blueprints that took me like 7 or 8 years implementing in my own business, which replaced me from having to work and also scaled my business to 7 figures. And then the next thing down here is helping people create AI automation agencies with a proven roadmap on how to find and sell clients. On top of that, we also have calendar events every single week. So if you ever run into problems or issues, you can always jump on one of these calls, and I'd be more than happy to help you out and get past the roadblock that you're stuck with. Sometimes it's crazy because, like, you know, you could be spending 5 or even 10. Sometimes you were like, man, I've been spending 2 weeks on this freaking problem. Like, I cannot solve it. In one call in 5 minutes, we're done. And so obviously that's a good return on investment, because spending 2 weeks on a problem is not always beneficial. And then obviously there's a vibrant community here of like-minded individuals that are looking to use AI automation to scale and grow and all that kind of stuff. So thanks guys for watching. I hope you have a lovely day. Really appreciate your time, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.